The United Nations top official for the human rights of migrants has criticised Australia for its treatment of refugees at its offshore detention centres. Special Rapporteur Frances Crepeau says conditions in the facility on Nauru are cruel, inhuman and degrading, and they do not live up to international humanitarian obligations. It's not the first time the country's refugee policies have come under fire. Earlier this month, Amnesty International compared the detention centre in Nauru to an open-air prison. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has denied those claims. He's also recently announced an agreement with the United States to relocate around 1,200 asylum seekers from Manus Island and Nauru. Many of them come from Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Well, Frances Crepeau spent more than 2 weeks examining Australia's policy, and he heard stories from some of the asylum seekers on Nauru Island.
The effect of detention is incalculable on the well-being of those individuals. And we have met people who were deeply damaged by the length of the detention. Self-harm, PTSD, anxiety, depression. Many of them are on a regular diet of happy pills in the morning and sleeping tablets in the evening, because that's the only way to go through the day and go through the nights.
Jarni Blakkarly is following developments from Melbourne and says many are waiting to see if US President-elect Donald Trump will honour the resettlement deal.
He's criticised Australia's refugee policy, particularly towards those on the island of Nauru, centering on roughly 1,200 people who had previously tried to come from Indonesia to Australia by boat to seek asylum. And the Australian government's been quite adamant that they won't be allowed into Australia. In the meantime, on these island detention centres for around 3 years, and the UN has previously said that these conditions are in breach of the Convention on Torture. So it's not the first time they've been criticised. The government recently announced a plan to settle these refugees in the US, and that's been a development that's been a long time in the making. This is in response to a deal where Australia will take refugees from Central America. However, it's not clear if this will go. Obviously, with the US President-elect Donald Trump coming in just a matter of months from now, that has added an element of uncertainty. Australia is wanting to find a place for these refugees, most of whom are from the Middle East and who are Muslim. So it is a question about whether that deal will go ahead. There is some uncertainty around it.